4th of July celebrations in New England are much the same today as they were in the 1890s. Then, as now, the highlight of the day's festivities was a rousing fireworks display. That was the part that Robert Goddard liked the best. By the time he was 16, he was launching his own rockets. He wrote in his diary, July 4th, 1898, fired cannon and firecrackers all day. In evening, had 5 rockets.
Light it now? Wow!
That same year, The War of the Worlds was being serialized in the Boston Post. Goddard eagerly read every word. The Boston newspapers were also reporting intriguing conjectures by a Professor Lowell, whose lectures Goddard would later attend. The images of Mars spun by Wells and Lowell beguiled the young Goddard. And at age 17, on October 19th, 1899, they crystallized into an overwhelming vision that provided the direction and purpose of his life. From the high branches of an old cherry tree on his family's farm, Goddard saw a way to do more than just speculate about Mars. Before anyone had ever flown in an airplane or listened to a radio, Goddard decided to invent a machine that would voyage to the planet Mars. For the rest of his life, he was to commemorate that October day as his anniversary day, the birthday of his great dream. By the 1920s, after years of studying physics and engineering, he was experimenting with liquid fuel rockets. In order to build a rocket capable of reaching high altitudes, Goddard had to create the principles of an entirely new technology. He invented the basic components that propel, stabilize, and guide the modern rocket. It was painstaking and difficult work, but Goddard took the many setbacks in stride. He sifted the wreckage of each experiment for clues to guide the next. Constantly refining old techniques and inventing new ones, he gradually raised the rocket from a dangerous toy and set it on its way to becoming an interplanetary vehicle. Goddard died in 1945 before a rocket had ever left the planet Earth. Although Mars always remained his objective, Goddard knew that such a goal would be ridiculed. In public, he advocated only the more modest objective of flying to the moon. Those boyhood dreams of voyages to the moon and Mars, shared by Goddard with his contemporary, a Russian scientist named Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, were fulfilled only a few decades after their deaths. But as it turned out, the first planet to be explored by rocket was the Earth. Now, imagine yourself a visitor from some other and quite alien planet. You approach the Earth with no preconceptions. Is the place inhabited? At what point can you decide? When we look at the whole Earth, there are no signs of life. We must examine it more closely. If there are intelligent beings, maybe they create engineering structures which can be seen at a resolution of a few kilometers. Yet, at this level of detail, even a great river valley seems utterly lifeless. There's no sign of life, intelligent or otherwise, in Washington, D.C., or Moscow, or Tokyo, or Peking. If there are intelligent beings on Earth, they have not much modified the landscape into regular geometrical patterns at kilometer resolution. But when we improve the resolution tenfold, when we begin to see detail as small as 100 meters across, the size of a football field, the situation changes. Many places on Earth seem suddenly to crystallize out, revealing an intricate pattern of straight lines, squares, rectangles, and circles. Canals, roads, circular irrigation patterns all suggest intelligent life with a passion for Euclidean geometry and territoriality. On this scale, intelligent life can be discerned in Boston and Washington and New York. At 10-meter resolution, we also discover that the Earthlings like to build up. At twilight or night, other things are visible. Oil well fires in the Persian Gulf, or the bright lights of large cities. And at meter resolution, we make out individual organisms, seals on ice floes, or people on skis. Intelligent life on Earth first reveals itself through the geometric regularity of its constructions. If Lowell's canal network really existed, the conclusion that intelligent beings inhabit that planet might also be compelling. But there is no canal network. Our unmanned spacecraft have examined Mars with 1,000 times more detail than any fleeting glimpse available through Percival Lowell's telescope. There's no question that his Martian canals were of intelligent origin. The only question was which side of the telescope the intelligence was on. Where we have strong emotions, we're liable to fool ourselves.